community. There we go. Um, we introduced this into the community 4 years ago this month because at that point we had already expanded to multiple nations and time zones, and we realized that we had a little hole in our onboarding process. So this has been with us for all this time. We have changed it a little bit here and there over the years, but the general theme is to reinforce CSA: connect, serve, and ask. It is the heartbeat, the spirit, the soul, the mindset of everything we do in this community is CSA. And fuel fits into that. Ideally, the first stop you make on what we call the member journey, it's also, you can call it a training roadmap if you wish, a couple other possibilities, is CSA itself, which is an on-demand, take it on your own schedule course that lives on our community platform, which is known as Town Square, which uses Mighty Networks as its platform. Second stop would be coming right here to Fuel. And your third stop is to Activate, which is another webinar workshop that is on the calendar that you register for as well. So CSA, Fuel, Activate is the ideal flow. But if you get them out of sequence, no harm, no foul, at least you're taking them. Because again, people float aimlessly, don't understand what they're a part of, and they get nowhere near the value out of their membership if they don't take this stuff. So that's the backstory. Last big thing I want to say before we do some introductions for you is ROI. Everyone will probably come into this community with a little bit of a different definition of what the return on investment means to them. So everyone has opened their purse or wallet and has chosen to be a part of us, and we appreciate each and every one of you. But we cannot define ROI for you. You need to define it for what you want out of this community. So you might only want financial material benefit. Hey, I paid X, I want X back. That's fine. If that's the definition of ROI you have for yourself, fantastic. We are not going to argue with you or say that that's insignificant. You might want a more social, cultural thing, right? You might want to find friends and professional business colleagues here. Use as an opportunity to build that up, right? Social capital, beautiful, right? You might want to use this as a professional development opportunity because we weave that throughout your membership. Professional development, which is priceless in the modern economy where AI is going to take over everything very soon. Ask Greg about that. So suffice to say, whatever your ROI is, please define it up front and stick to it and use us as a tool to get you to whatever that ROI is for you. So let's go ahead now and do some brief introductions. You've heard a good amount from me. I will share a little bit more about myself, but more importantly, let's get you introduced to Donna first, and we'll get to Greg at the end, and then we'll get officially started. So Donna, please take a moment or two and share about yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Donna Schomer. I am part of the H7 home office staff where I oversee the leadership inside of H7. I'm part of the Alpha team for Carolina Hub, which is Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm also the area director for here in Columbus, Ohio for our in-person. And I help the boys run this meeting on Wednesdays for Fuel. It's great meeting you.
Thank you, Donna. A lot of us wear many hats around here. We're an 18-year-old organization, by the way, but we act like a startup. So not a bad thing. Myself, real briefly, a couple other quick things. You've heard enough from me, but I have been in the community this is my 11th year of the almost 18 we've been around. And I have three primary responsibilities for the community. First, I've already mentioned it, but let me re-stress it. We call it the home office. That is our only term for it. We are the inner circle of people that the founder Clay relies on to keep things running. Because even though we act like a startup, we're well past it in terms of age, but there's no possible way that man can do everything. So we are here to help him. And my specific role in the home office is the data guy. In a corporation, it would be known as a CIO, Chief Information Officer, or a CDO, Chief Data Officer. So that's me. Second is like Donna, I have some leadership responsibility for our groups. First, I have the Lifelong Learning Society, or LLS, which is on your calendar. And I also have the Virtual Social, which is on your calendar. And then lastly, I am your MC. I used to be the stunt double backup MC, but the other gentleman left the community on good terms. So I ascended to do my own stunts as the MC for the fuel orientation. So those are my three things. Greg, take it from there.
All right. Hey, good day. Glad to have you here in orientation. Not officially 7, but been around. I think I just clicked like 8 years. Do a few things in the organization, which I'll share in a second. But really, I am a long time technical person, marketing person online since the mid 90s. So we help people for a couple decades doing the dang best things, getting found, getting chosen, reviews, SEO, this new AEO thing, right? Speaking of AI, we've been teaching and training on it for about 4 years now. So we kind of got two divisions, and then in the H7 hat, I run Tech Corner on Thursday. So taming our tech together, like you have to have all of this stuff. We talk about AI and CRMs and social media and all that kind of good stuff. I'm also on the alpha team for the huddle, which is more of a mastermind thing. And we talk about all kind of things to essentially kind of help run your business, like sales, marketing, AI, operations. And then I help out here in orientation. So hang on. We're going to cover some really good stuff in the next little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here with us. Okay, Donna gets the first part of the official agenda. So take it away, please, ma'am.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Wait till everything gets situated. All right, you can see my blue boxes. We're inside of Town Square. I would rather you just kind of watch my screen than try to follow along on yours. If you haven't been in Town Square, just a little bit of kind of overview. Your profiles up at the top, some of your notifications. This is kind of where the work happens, the magic happens. This is kind of like a table of contents down the left. So for today's meeting, we're going to go into member training. We're going to click on fuel because that's where we are, and go up to view resources. Each one of these you can click on and it'll pop up a screen with more information. So just to save time, I'm just going to kind of overview my sections, but definitely go back later and kind of dive into each little area. All right, so first of all, I'm going to share H7's mission statement. So our mission is to offer a platform where professionals can develop, sustain trusted relationships within our community, utilizing the Connect, Serve, Ask. Through targeted business development, meaningful mentorship, and strategic word-of-mouth marketing, we create new relationships, opportunities that foster a thriving and supportive network. Our vision statement here at H7 is to transform the global standard for professional networking by empowering professionals to connect meaningfully, serve with purpose, and ask for support from your peers. A lot of people always ask me, what does H7 stand for? So we're going to go over it today. It stands for our 7 core values. Again, each one of these, you can click on it and a box will pop up with more information. But to save on time, because we're going through a lot today, I'll just kind of cover. So what does the core value connect mean? It means connecting is about forming authentic relationships with sincerity, right? It's going beyond just exchanging contact information to where you're understanding each other and finding common ground. Serve means serving involves helping others without expecting anything in return, right? A service-oriented mindset focuses on adding value to others. Ask. Asking is crucial in relationship building. It shows vulnerability and respect for others' expertise. Influence, as we're kind of going down the list here. When you connect and serve, that's when you grow your influence. True influence comes from integrity and authenticity. It involves guiding others positively and ethically. Focus. As one of our core values, focus means being present and intentional in your interactions in the time that you have with others, right? By giving your full attention, we are respecting and value others' time and their input. Champion. Being a champion means advocating for others' success, right? We're championing our connections, we're building supportive networks that thrive on shared victories and fostering a culture of empowerment and trust. And our last core value is win-win. The win-win value emphasizes solutions that benefit all parties, right? It creates outcomes where everyone feels valued. All right, that's our mission, our vision, and our core values. Any questions so far?
No, this is helpful.
Perfect. All right, next we're going to kind of move on down the list, and we're going to talk about developing champion relationships. And this is just a little guide. It's a four-part step that, again, you can click on it and it'll open up and give you more information. I'm just going to kind of give you a high-level overview. So step one, the initial connection with another member. You know, by using your 3 words, your 30-second commercial, using their prompts and questions in your activities, in your meetings, right? These are ways to make that initial connection. You're looking for words that may trigger something to say, I want to take the next step with this person. You're also thinking about what are the words that I'm using to trigger that same thought in someone else. Greg is going to go over later on how to work on those 3 words in 30-second commercial. So I'm just kind of give you an overview of that's how we make our first connection. Once you hear something that you say, I really want to reach out and meet Greg or SJ based off something they said, that's where step 2 comes in. And you schedule that first connect, serve, ask one-on-one. In this first meeting, it's driven by 3 main objectives: connecting, finding that common ground, understanding each other's backgrounds, values, and business goals. Second step is to serve, identifying ways to help them, whether it's through insights, resources, or even an introduction. And the last step is to ask, right? Align your needs with their offerings, being transparent about how their support and introduction would be valued for yourself. After your first one-on-one and you're at the end and you're thinking, man, I could see us building a relationship and being strategic partners or champions for each other, make sure you schedule a second meeting from that first meeting. Don't walk away and think, I'll email them later or we'll touch base later. Always try to schedule a meeting from a meeting. It's the way to keep the relationship building. And so once you do that, you're thinking, all right, here's that next step, that second one-on-one. Here's where you really dive down and learn what each person's about, right? You may learn about their presentation. Maybe you'll hear a client success story. You know, this is where you start getting into that ideal client list, right? What does it look like to be onboarded by this person? More of those kind of deeper things about their business, the problems they solve, introductions that would be valuable. That's the second connection that you have with them, that second one-on-one. We call it take massive action, right? This is where you're really getting to know the ins and out of the person you're with. Not so that you can sell their products or services, but so that you can sell them. In H7, we have a goal that our new members develop at least 5 trusted relationships, or champions that we call them, within your first year. So imagine not only are you in meetings, now you have 5 champions out there talking about you in rooms you're not in. That's the goal of H7, is growing that word of mouth marketing and developing your trusted champion relationships. Questions about this guide? Again, if you open it up, it'll go more in depth and give you more resources to help you out.
No, I don't think so. I think this is good. This is helpful. I think I like the distinction between the first and the second meeting. I think that's helpful because a lot of times we just rush to trying to get what we want in the first meeting.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. All right, well, I'm going to end it there and I'm going to keep sharing, so keep paying attention, but SJ is going to take over.
Yes, thank you. One of Donna's unsung roles in the community is also to be Vanna White. So she is continuing to share her screen here. So thank you for that. All right, the second official part of the orientation is my piece, and I have 4 things, and I will leave a block in there to ask for questions to the best of my ability. But let's get started with the first of the 4, which is H7's directories. And let me please emphasize, this is not a typo. This is directories plural. We do have 2 of them at this moment. There is plans to consolidate. However, we aren't there yet. So since you are here at Fuel in late February of 26, we are going to face it how it is and talk about the first of the 2, which is the static or website directory. It is using a GUI UX interface on h7network.com. You can get to both directories from that first link that you see on your screen, and then where you see the orange is where I am now talking about the static one. This directory is the oldest one. It's been around for over a decade of our 18 years, and you can do all sorts of things from it. You can renew a membership. You can update billing information for your membership. You can edit your profile at any time. We would advise at minimum to look at least once a year while your membership's active. Perhaps you do it every quarter or something. Again, if things are changing on a significant basis. You also have the ability, and some people do still do this, but I want to make sure everyone knows, is you can communicate with members through it. However, it is not going to function the same way as some other communication tools that you might be familiar do, because you need to be signed in with your email on file and the password that was created for you when you first joined us. If you are having issues with that password, there's a way to directly request one right there on the site. And then that auto email will come right to your inbox. Be aware, it often misroutes to junk spam. If you're not checking junk spam regularly, please make it a point. I'm shocked at how many people don't do that. Greg probably is too as a tech guy. It's shocking how many people don't check their spam junk. Make sure you are not one of those people. And fish that email out and reset your password if you need to. Okay. Again, you can communicate with members this way if you desire, because again, some people want to do this. Some people want to migrate the relationship over to LinkedIn or to their inbox. And again, that's your decision. So that is available through the static directory. It is a way to engage with the community, because if you think, and I don't think anyone ever has this ability, to say, I'm going to meet every member of the H7 global community by just going to our groups, that will not happen. There's a percentage of our membership, about 1 of every 5, that only attends handshake in-person groups, like Donna has 2 of them in Columbus, Ohio, and they will not show up on Zoom. So you can reach them through the messaging. You can reach them also through other means like LinkedIn if you wish, right? So again, use this directory heavily. Also make sure you build out your own listing. Make sure you have some pictures, make it pretty, make it nice. Make sure you have all the links that you want out there. Most importantly, have your booking digital calendar link prominent. We are a permissionless booking community. We want you to book with people without having to wait for them. Hey, I'd like to meet with you at 2 p.m. Friday, or can you send me your link? You should never, ever have to do either of those things, because they're inefficient and they introduce friction. So have your link very visible for booking with you, and everyone else should expect everyone else, including us on the home office and the honorary home office, to have our links very visible. So that's the first. Second is Town Square. Town Square directory is newer. We rolled out Town Square on the Mighty Networks platform. You can download the app from your App Store or your Google Play. We rolled that out in late 2023. It is our community platform because we are group community platform is how you look at us. And with here, a lot of the similar things. You can update your profile. I'd recommend you just mirror them both, build one out completely as you want it, and then mirror the other. Again, make sure your booking link is very prominent, and also make sure you answer any of the fields and fill them in, because there's some fields out on Town Square that are meant to help you connect with other members. You can also communicate with members here as well, and you can do that by the messaging. The messaging here looks a lot more similar to your LinkedIn or your Facebook or your WhatsApp messaging that most people are familiar with. And again, here, these are two separate profiles as of now, and please, again, use them heavily because you will not meet all the members otherwise, and you will not completely take advantage of your membership. Second is connection forms. You and I, ma'am, have met through the Rooted group several times and a few other groups, and every time you may never have wondered, maybe you have, why am I getting this link in every chat box and people are asking me to fill it out? It is a connection form. It should only be called that ideally, because again, the goal is to tie it back to our heartbeat, our mindset, which is connect, serve, and ask. So connect, connection. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So we call them a connection form because you are engaging with the home office, with Donna, myself, and Frank, our newest home officer. And you are also sharing with us things that will help us to be a better community. When we get more connection forms from certain groups, we see that the group's a little more popular. That's why Greg's Tech Corner is one of the longest lasting groups we have, because they always fill out their connection forms and they are very popular for other reasons, right? And we can tell based upon that. So you're communicating signals to the home office. You're also sharing things like takeaways from certain groups, right? There'll be a field for takeaways. There'll be a field for telling us, do you have enough champions? Things of this nature. Some of the groups have a basic set of properties that you'll see right there on your screen in front of you. And then some of the other style groups have some additional properties. And again, the goal is simple. Please fill this out every time it's in every chat box. Even if you don't do it immediately, save it on a tab on your screen and do it later that night, do it the next day. I even every so often, since I get all these as a CIO, I sometimes get ones from a week ago. But it's like, hey, I'd rather have it a week later than you not do it at all, because again, you're sending a signal and you're engaging and communicating with us, and you're showing that you understand what the value of these things are. They're not a nuisance. They're not an obligation. They're not a burden. They're meant to communicate and help you. So that's a connection form. Okay. Next up is the staff support form. And this one is important to every single member, especially if you're in leadership. Donna always talks to all of our leaders. We have plenty of them, including Greg himself and me for that matter. And she reminds everyone, as she should, because it benefits them and her and me, that when you communicate with the home office, you always use the staff support form. We rolled this out at the end of 2023 too. That was a big year for us at the tail end. And the goal is to have a single means of communication. Because if you do it by old school email, do you really know if that's Donna's responsibility or her gift or her knowledge area? Or is it SJ's? Maybe both of us can substitute in like stunt doubles for each other. You don't know, right? And email also gets lost and overlooked and sometimes even mistakenly deleted and all that. But when we have a ticketing system, this form auto creates a ticket for us. We have to be systematic to help all of our members in all 16 time zones, whether they're in day one of their membership or year 11 or anywhere else. So we created the staff support form for that reason. That link should be prominent in your bookmarks and save it. It's also available on Town Square on the left sidebar. It's also available next to the member directory, the static directory that I went through earlier. So it's in multiple places for a reason, because we want everyone to use it on a consistent basis, please. Keeping in mind, there's only 2 of us, so we do our best to get to things as fast as we can. Lastly is ring the bell form.
Ring the bell forms. Okay.
Ring the bell. It's the last form, and it has some similarities to the staff support and connection, but it has its own name for a reason. This one is primarily for you, because you are ringing the bell as a sign of accomplishment.
Okay.
It is only used for the trainings, for the member journey. So you are on it right now. So guess what Donna's going to paste in the chat later? The ring the bell form.
Oh, wow.
Because it's not a group, so you're not going to get a connection form. It's not staff support. You need help from us. You're ringing the bell because you're completing one of the 3 stops on the member journey.
Great.
It is baked into the CSA course, because again, that's on your own time. So it's baked in there before you finish the course. You'll get a link that says fill this form out. And then when you attend Activate, it'll be provided in the chat as well. So that is the ring the bell form. It is all about accomplishments for you, because when you complete all 3, you become a connector in our community. And Donna will speak a little more about that later in her session.
Great.
So with that said, my last words on this section is to say that those are all 4 parts. Thank you, Donna, for sharing. Any brief questions before I hand off to Greg?
No. So the staff support form, what is it I'm asking for specifically again? Like, what do I need from the staff when I'm doing that?
Anything you would need from the home office staff. It could be you're having issues with your Town Square access. You're having issues with the member directory. You are adding someone to your team. So if you are a solopreneur and you're adding a new person to your membership, you can use that form.
Okay. Okay.
All sorts of things.
So when I emailed Clay to ask him, okay, I guess I should ask about the meetings then, because I know I had yesterday they had an abbreviated meeting because some people, there were not enough people, but I came late, and so I sent him an email today saying, "Hey, will this fuel be happening? Should that have been a staff support, or should that?"
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
Ideally, yes.
All right.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I'll say this briefly, so give Greg enough time to get his stuff, because he has a lot. Here's the brief answer I can give you that. Clay is a very helpful, generous fellow, but he's one man. Yes. And there is no possible human way he can handle this community of this size anymore like he did when he started in 2008. So he pays Donna, myself, and now Frank to do certain things that we are good at. So leveraging the form gets us a lot of the detail stuff so he can focus on the bigger picture. So with that said, great question. Thank you for asking. Future reasons, use the form as much as you have to. All right, Greg, you're up, and I know you have a lot to cover, and I'll keep an eye on the clock for you as I usually do. So rock on.
All right, good. I have my timer too. A lot of stuff, huh? Well, we are going to keep going here. And it doesn't show that you can see my screen, right? We're in Town Square. Excellent. I love Zoom. I was actually making a post about fixing some Zoom issues because we're a 25-year tech guy, and there's this it's always a pain, especially this new one with the video camera. Anyways, so yeah, I'm in here all the time. I was checking out the community news feed, and just like before earlier in the session, we're going to spend a lot of time in here, and my charge is to give you some more clarity, some guidance, some tools that you can go back to. Remember, we're just looking and following the screen. You've got your homework cut out for you. You should decide to do this for yourself after, right? You're going to get an email that's going to have these links and some guidance, okay?
Okay.
And some of the stuff you might have seen, you're probably already doing. Going to give you some extra tips. And so these are resources and tools. They're actually in here. We're going to talk about kind of the big ones, these 3-word introductions, these 30-second commercials. At the end, I'll squeeze in one of my versions. And so I've got this teed up where you can follow along. And are you in Town Square?
I know I did log in there once, but I
Okay.
don't think I've ever really gone around. So, I probably went there and I was like, oh my God, there's so much stuff that I probably just
Well,
never.
that's what today's for. So yeah, so it's a lot like some other websites, right, where there's a big right frame with content and the nav on the left. And guess what? Ooh, fuel orientation stuff. In fact, I think that we've been teaching out of this session already. And
Okay.
I'm going to pick up in here. And we are going to go through this. And so it's interesting. So it's this really kind of cool platform where it's sort of like a LinkedIn. It's sort of like a training area. It's sort of a community. And so you can see some of these check boxes. So I've done them all, so I can click through them quickly, right? And some of them, as you progress, you can't go to the next thing till you finish it. So it's sort of like prerequisites or steps, right?
Mhm.
Anyway, so these are kind of the 2 big areas that we're going. We'll just kind of do them in order. As usual, my machine is working hard, and Zoom takes up memory too. So,
Yeah.
but the point is this: you're going to see some things you've seen before. They're going to be in different places in here because they're that important, and they're to show up a few places, and then so you can walk through some of these steps, right?
Mhm.
So the 3-word introduction. So this is it's important. I mean, this is a little one. You can put it like put it in the message box, the chat box, right? Do you go to some virtuals?
Mhm.
It's a good
Mhm.
one to have in there. Sometimes I put it even right here. Do you know how to do this one in Zoom?
Yes, I do,
Yeah.
but
Do
I
your
do.
3 dots, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big one. That's right there. I'm in the marketer. That's a lot of impressions. They can see that there. I usually have my 3 words there. I got a new cool domain, so that's there. And change it up, right? It's not always the same thing. Maybe you're pitching a different thing. Anyway, so it's the idea that you're kind of like it's curiosity, it's engagement. It's not trying to tell everything. It's
Mhm.
trying to get you all of this stuff, all of these things that you're doing. You're trying to build connections and relationships. And so putting yourself out there and saying things strategically and thoughtfully is smart because that's how people can get resonance with like what you do and how you help and what the outcomes are and the stories that you tell, right? And some of these things help you tell your story, your 3 words, your 30-second commercial. This one here, I I think it probably has a better place at the end of the 30-second commercial. You're not really going to use your name. Your name's probably already in that stuff here.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a call to benefit, right? Or an outcome or a transformation. It's not a call to action. You're not necessarily telling them what to do. Like I sort of am with my website, but I mix it up. Sometimes I do like supercharge biz with AI or things like whatever you do. And I don't know, we should have a one-on-one, but things
Yeah.
that talk
Mhm.
about, a benefit, right? Or they spark curiosity, or maybe they stand out. Like I saw somebody, they're like, I'm your deputy CEO. Well, what the heck is that? You know, I thought that was a good one. And so this is a part. And so the way this sort of works, like this lesson's complete, we're going to go down here and go to next. Now there's some depth in here we're not going to get into, like different ways to think about asking depending on your target, right? It could be B2B, it could be B2C. Sometimes your ask is looking for a perfect partner, right? a champion, if you will, at the highest level. And so there's ways to try that out, right? And so I don't know, do you have one that you've been using? Do you like it? Do you get people to
Well, yeah, the introductions have been interesting because I'm in a number of different groups, but I think I just switched it up last week in my PE operators group, and they loved it there, or at least the lead did. But um, I have a couple of introductions that I use.
Oh, good.
So
Excellent.
I could probably look at this one again, the one that I use for.
And look, read the room. What meeting are you in? Right?
Mhm.
If you know, if I'm in with my CMOs, my fractionals, I'll have one thing. If I'm, in a tech meeting, I'll do another way. If I'm in AI space, or so there's lots of stuff. But the point is, like, for you to have some thought, have some, maybe one or two in your holster to
Mhm.
use when appropriate. And you know what? Make some more up. As it goes. I mean, it's never done, right? Like, the world's changing, your offers are changing,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So now we're going back up to the top, and we're going to go down the leg, right, for the 30-second commercial.
Mhm.
Now this is cool. I mean, if you've been going to meetings, you've been doing these. um, and what's neat about them is the um you get the floor, right? Like, everybody's listening to you, right? And so I am trying to find the right place that this is. I thought I had the right place. There's a spot that talks about the power of the 30-second commercial, and I'm just gonna keep looking for that. But so again, here's your chance to put it out there, do something that creates curiosity, do something that tells a little bit about what you do. And oh, it's so good to be um, concise, right? And so this is wordsmithing. This is trying different things. So you're trying to, get it out there. You want to talk about, and you can think about some ways in there, and that's what one of these worksheets is for. And you're going to see different angles. Like, sometimes it's a lesson, sometimes it's a form. There's all kinds of things. And so this one is actually in the 30-second commercial. It's got some basics in here, and it starts to think about, you could do your things targeted in each way, or perhaps just telling your story does two things. It resonates with the people who could be your customer. And because you're telling that, it resonates with people who they know who you help, so that's who they can refer you to. We're tracking this,
Mhm.
right? And so when we think about, a lot of times, like, who you're looking for, because this is kind of a big way for your ask, right? A lot of times, we know this, you're selling through the room, right? You're leveraging your relationships in the community to expand your network to their COIs.
Mhm.
And so at a simple level, we're going to go in there and figure out, like, what problem do you solve, right? Why do people come to you? How do you help? So this is kind of
This is helpful. This is very helpful. It's an outline, right? So
it is
it's different
absolutely.
than you could ask me what problem do I solve. It's different than me trying to sit here and answer that question myself.
I know. Well, thank
Because
you for
you,
saying that.
you pick apart the key is to do it, right? You it's got the pieces, right?
Right.
And one can work on it. And then usually what happens is when you work on a piece of it, you get excited and you get more, and
Yeah, I
it's,
think you should have a few. I do. I have one for my AI side and one for my marketing side, right?
I think,
And so part of my marketer guy's going to come out here. So first of all, you're sort of starting, like, with, like, the features and the benefits, right? But then you're going to widen that. You're going to heighten the problem. Like, why do they need to solve that, right? What happens if they use your product? So that moves you more to, like, to outcomes and transformations, if you will, right? So you're going to be able to take time off because you got enough customers, and so now you can go watch your kids' ball game because you know bought my service,
Mhm.
to be a little blunt about it, right? And then you kind of want to think about, like, how do you do it? So you've got to give them a little bit of taste, right? Um, so we can, You can have extra time off. Why? Well, because you saved time. Why? Because you improved your systems. And I'm just making up stuff, right? It could be like, take this as a metaphor. It's an example for you, right? And then we like to think about, after they did this, how is their life better? Or on the contrary, you could say, if you don't do this, you know, stay stuck and keep missing games and movie night.
Mhm.
There's pain and pleasures, all kind of these things um, to work that in, right? And then, of course, we think that you should say your name and your company name in your 30-second commercial. I say don't lead with it, right? I say start with a hook, start with an opener, some pattern interrupt, if you will, right? And then you can put it all together in here and submit this, right? Okay. And a lot of this exercise is for you. Is for you to do over and over, or write for different offers or different parts of your business. I don't know you that well, but the reality is that many people do more than one thing, right? And they might have more than one ideal client, or they might have more than one ideal partner, or more than one solution. And so you can put that together and work on it and have several in there. And look at this, practice it, right? You could even, run a little timer. I got time, I think, to share mine. And it's another one. There's things, and they got this thing. You've got Dan. There's a guy, Andrew. You'll see links to some of his stuff. He's got this like elevator pitch lab. Different words, right? We call it, the 30-second commercial around here. Now, I'll tell you another one that I got one from my mentors, and we teach and people like, and it's called the art of business. Okay, so it's audience, results, and time frame, and this becomes very concise because it's only about 4 sentences, which is about 80 words, which is about 30 seconds. And we always start with a hook, and I'm just going to do mine for the sake of example. Like how it's hard to know where to start with AI, with all of these choices and all of these platforms and what to do. Well, we help business owners and entrepreneurs nationwide leverage the powerful forces of AI and all the platforms. They can save 5 hours a week. They can earn more money, can get better quality output. They can see results in 30 days. I'm Greg with AIgrowthmap.com. So
Okay.
so that's a sweet little way, and take that for yourself, right? Audience, results, and time frame, because it sort of hits on some of these buttons, right? Like, who do you help, right? And what do they get? And the time frame's kind of cool, right? It quantifies it. But then we also tell them how, like we show them the platforms, we give them the training. So whatever that means to you, right? And the mechanisms in the ways that you help people
Yes.
reach those outcomes and transformations.
Mm-hmm.
Saying yes, like you're getting this. I love that.
No, this is good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, that's my time. We're gonna bring this on home. And
Go to the trainings. I'll start with this one, then I'll go back to the
oh
CFO.
yeah, boy, we'd love to hear this engagement, and we do often. Like,
Right.
I didn't know. Now I got more work to do, and good for you.
Well, absolutely good for you because this is a learning organization. Professional development is weaved throughout. So those who put a little more effort in from time to time without burning themselves out or stressing themselves out needlessly will get more opportunities will pop up outside the community and you'll get better results. So thank you for being so engaging so far. Let's wrap this up with Donna sharing again.
Right, so I'm back on my screen showing you again member training, clicking on fuel, and this is what we've covered today so far, which has been a lot. So make sure you kind of go back, do one little section at a time, and kind of review what we've gone over.
Mhm.
I'm going to end down here with the roadmap to success. And so this is kind of your journey in H7. You may or may not have attended Welcome to H7 with Clay, where you
I
got an
did.
overview. Good, good. It's such a great place to start. Get an overview of the meeting, what it's like, H7. Then you join, and that's when your onboarding begins. And again, this is CSA, you do on your own, fuel here with us, and then activate is a Zoom call with Clay on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's your onboarding. Then it's a time to start to find your groups. Sounds like you've already kind of been looking into this and finding your groups, which is great.
Mhm. Put the
Just want
cart before the horse.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Jumping right into the water without flotation devices. It's good.
No.
Now you're getting a little bit of your raft. No problem. I do want to go over just some of the types of meetings we have in case you go into a meeting and you're like, this isn't quite like the others. It sounds like you've been to Rooted in Faith, which is obviously not like the others as well because it is faith based. We have groups that are geo-based, which the leaders are from that area, does not mean you have to be.
Okay.
So, like the New York City meeting or the Carolina meeting, just means the leaders are from that area, but you're more than
That's
welcome to
helpful.
go.
That's helpful. See, because I never went to them because I thought everybody there must be from. I mean, I did visit a few, but I figured, they're probably from that area. Didn't realize it was just the leader.
For the leaders.
And
Yep.
I have gone to the Boston one many times. This year, not as much, but last year I did go to almost every week. But yeah, I
Good.
didn't realize that they're just the leader.
Yep. That's kind of where it starts. Yep. Customized targeted just means they're focused on a target or kind of a round table and they want to work on like business growth together. There's just some kind of target market or niche that they're talking about. So, for instance, we have manufacturing, but we also have Southwest where they're more of a brainstorming type of meeting, right? Which is not based on geo. So just kind of our other kind of groups that you may walk in and they may look a little bit different than our geo meetings. Business
Okay.
evolution meetings are the meetings like SJ and Greg run. Greg's Tech Corner, you don't go because you're techie, you go because you want to learn from the experts that are there, right? Same thing with
Okay.
SJ's Lifelong Learning Society. You go because you want to learn whatever book they're reading or interacted off the topic there. Masterminds is groups that
Mhm.
are coming. We're in the process of getting that up and running, so you'll see that soon. And then we're also in person in four, soon to be five locations. So that's, oh, I went too far. There's
Oh,
also a little interactive map if you're like, oh, that's nice, but I like to follow a little map. So you can follow it this way. So we've done attend, we've done onboarding, we found your group. Now, once you've completed all your training, like SJ said, you will be recognized as a connector, which means that you understand the culture and the vision of
woohoo.
H7 and you are starting to build your champions. And as you build your champions, you'll become an influencer inside of the community. So that's your little fun roadmap to success. I also want to
Now,
point out,
imagine if you done that.
go ahead.
Yeah. No,
You
you go
said,
ahead. No problem.
okay. I was going to say too, if you get inside of Town Square and you start to feel that it's overwhelming, I host office hours every Monday at 11 Eastern Time. So you can come in, we can talk all things Town Square. I can show you around and be able to help you find and update things that you need to. Before we
Okay.
before we get to that ring to the bell, I want to click down here on the bottom. If you truly enjoyed this time with us, we would love for a Google review or a Facebook review. Obviously, you could just email us a review as well. We highly appreciate any positive feedback you have.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, so I'm going to throw the form in the chat for you to start filling out. And it's coming in there now. So as you click on it, open it up, it'll have stages. Feel free to skip and say next if you haven't done something. You don't have to answer each one, but make sure when it asks about fuel that you said yes, you're here for the whole hour.
Okay.
And then I'm
Wait a
gonna,
minute.
oh, did you grab it?
I'm trying to. My poor computer it's like Greg's computer. It's dying right now.
Yeah, it's tired.
We
It's been a
work
long
in these
day.
things, working them.
If this
It's
was
just saying,
if this was last year at this time, I would relate too. I had all sorts of issues, as Donna can attest. So
Yeah. So as we're wrapping up,
yeah.
I think maybe Greg and SJ have some things they put in the chat they want to talk about. But I would love to hear from you when they are finished with something that you've learned today and then how you're going to apply it moving forward in H7. SJ, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
real briefly, Greg and I did a little hamburger for you in the chat. His links, if you want to model your profiles after someone, feel free to use Greg's. He gave you his links as a model. And then I gave you mine as well. So if we can help you to model
Okay.
so you can make sure both of your profiles are nice and pretty and fully complete, Greg or I or both of us, we would love to be an inspiration to you. And in the middle of the hamburger, the actual hamburger itself is the very important ring the bell form. That's all I have. So Greg, anything?
I think I've got the
No, that was
form.
it. Yeah, do the form and we throw those in there. Um, it's just a great opportunity, right? Because some people aren't going to meetings, people are in these directories. And so flush them out, like use all the space for the boxes, fill in all the things, upload images, do that stuff. I mean, I taught a class in Huddle about using AI to SEO optimize your profile. Because guess what people do? Like, think how you're going to search. You're going to go into Town Square or the other one and be like promotional products or
Mhm.
whatever. Or like me, you can't be thinking of the jargon. I'm like, we're reputation experts. They're going to search like Google reviews, like put the stuff on how they're going to find you in your profile. That makes sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you. So this is good.
Yeah.
What I learned that I had a profile. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Easy one. I just piggyback. I mean, there are a lot of things I learned. Yeah, two profiles. A lot of things, but since we just mentioned that, that was the obvious one I didn't know anything about. The others would have kind of been incremental learning.
yeah. It's the way people find you. So definitely making sure taking advantage of that and getting your information in there so people can find you.
Well, yeah, because when we first entered Canada in 2021, and then we hit the other countries afterwards, we're up to 19. That was one of the first signs that we had to make sure. I mean, we already were encouraging you before that to have a fully complete profile, but that really sealed it. Because unless you're working 24 hours a day and you have your AI agent subbing for you, you're not going to meet everyone. It's just not possible. So use those directories heavily and get some one-on-ones and find those 5 champions. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I do have to jump for another meeting, but I appreciate you, all three of you, coming here to make sure I got my, get on my 2 feet. Thank
Leave us
you.
a review. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Debrief.